Welcome, Anna, to this afternoon session. Let's just, I can just get rid of this recording. Anna? Okay, I've got a live stream going on. Let me just get rid of this recording. See if I can sort this out. Sorry, I've lost my cursor. I've got a live stream going on. All right, there we go. Where are we? Sort this out. There we go. Sorry. I need to get a black cursor on the screen.
Yeah.
Might be helpful. Okay, so let's start this recording. Okay, so yeah, just in the context of that conversation, I wanted to share this quote with you from Eckhart Tolle. Just see if I can find it. Which I thought was really, I mean, from my experience of this flow state, really very, very descriptive of what it actually felt like. So it's a good pointer to into it. To yeah, okay, this is actually what this feels like. Okay, so let's just see if we can find it. It was down here. Search on him. And there we go. All right. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. That's John, I think. That will work. Okay. Let's just get. There we go. Okay. So, can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just have a read of that, I think. I'm gonna read it aloud.
Yeah, I'm just going to move our little icons away from the text. Artistic creation, sports, dance, teaching, counseling, mastery in any field of endeavor implies that the thinking mind is either no longer involved at all, or at least is taking second place. A power and intelligence greater than you, and yet one with you in essence, takes over. There is no decision-making process anymore. Spontaneous right action happens, and you are not doing it. Mastery of life is the opposite of control. You become aligned with the greater consciousness. It acts, speaks, does the works. That's good to be reminded. Yeah. The thinking mind is at least taking second place. Yeah, yeah. We had the discussion the other day about what is thinking and what is feeling. So when I'm painting, I can feel like I was working on a painting that I started the other day outside. So taking it back into the studio and carrying on work. And I was feeling the direction of the light onto the painting more than thinking about it, actively feeling it, coming in on my left side. Therefore, the light would be falling here, here, and here.
Mm.
Is there a subtle difference between thinking and feeling?
I think in our experience there's, yeah. So we talk about the mind and the heart.
Yeah.
Heart is about the feeling, isn't it? But
Yeah.
in truth, the course doesn't make these distinctions because it's all mind.
Yeah, true.
It's all an experience in your mind that you now, are experiencing it in and with your mind. But the way that experience seems for us in our separated state is, okay, well that's more like a felt sense.
Yeah.
And maybe we feel it more in our body. There's more of, it's not conscious necessarily rational thought. You're not using words. I think that's quite a difference. In
Yeah.
feeling, you don't use words. It's just a feeling, and then you might put words to it.
True.
You might go, okay, well, I'm feeling sad now, but it's just a feeling arising. Or I'm feeling inspired. Okay, but it's a feeling arising. It's just there's a feeling that then triggers sensations, but the sensations are the effect. The feeling is deeper. The feeling is in, this is the deepest operation of your mind / soul. Soul is really your deeper mind. It's
True.
beyond rationality, beyond conscious awareness, beyond sensory perception.
But Jesus makes no distinction between thought and feeling.
No, not really. He talks more about thought,
Yes.
in the course, but doesn't say, well, there's thought and feeling. Doesn't make those distinctions because there isn't really. It's all thought. All, okay, just it's a different way of thinking. If you're more feeling into it, it's a different way that we experience thought, but it's still thought. There's still some awareness. There's a movement, something happening in your mind. It's quite tricky, isn't it, to even describe this? It's like,
but I get it.
What is this mysterious thing called thought and feeling?
Yeah.
And it's quite difficult to like go, okay, well, there it is, because it's so ephemeral. It's like you can't. There's no tangibility to it.
Well, that's good enough for me, and one will give rise to the other.
Yeah. One will give rise to the other, exactly. And so corrected thoughts, if you think incorrect thoughts, then that tends to stimulate feelings of, love. Boy, these are more feelings than thoughts.
Yeah.
And those in turn lead to, further thoughts. So he says, the thoughts of God, you think with the mind of God. So you feel a deeper connection with the presence. You then think a kind thought, or a generous thought, or a grateful thought.
Exactly.
And then the feeling kind of gets enhanced, and then you go, oh, actually, I'm feeling pretty good. And the one sort of leads into the other, and the same with negative thoughts. You think a negative thought, I feel alone. Let's say, oh, okay, so now I have a feeling of, oh, okay, that doesn't feel so good. I feel kind of alone, separated. And then, that triggers more thought. Oh, well, it's really not nice being alone. Why am I always alone? Oh, yes, and then you recall, a time when you were alone, when you were a child, and you felt abandoned, and so on and so on. And it just perpetuates itself. So that's why he's saying to us, be very vigilant of thoughts, because that's where it starts. How do you intervene? I mean, there's different modalities, but Jesus deals primarily with thought. Okay, so let's work with thoughts. Let's do these little mind training lessons to change your thinking.
There are no private thoughts.
And then you'll change your feeling.
Yeah.
The Vipassana, let's say Vipassana, which the Buddha came up with, was more about feeling. Okay, so observe feelings. Not so much thinking, but observe what you're feeling in the body, and that gets you into emotions. Okay, so now you've got a way of accessing emotions, becoming aware of those, and kind of rising above them, being equanimous to them, whatever's arising in feeling and in the body. You can simply observe it. So, you know, when I looked at both, I'm like, well, you know, why not use both? Because it's useful to be able to have a tool for dealing with feelings as well. You know, thought you can work on feelings with thought, and you can work with these mind training exercises, and you can work on it by just observing and going, okay, I'm observing the emotion, observing the feeling arising, and I can just observe it, and I can kind of let it diminish in time as I observe it. It's going to start to dissipate, which would then be, you know, forgiveness in the course's terms, just letting that feeling go. So I think they're both, you know, they're both helpful. If you've got a number of things in your toolbox, it can help you to deal with like a strong emotion. And let's say you're using a course lesson and you're still feeling that emotion. Okay, well, go in and do some vipassana and just observe it. Just sit with it, be with it, observe it, and observe the sensations of it, and just kind of breathe through it. Go, okay, I'm just gonna observe breath, and I'm just gonna let this feeling naturally dissipate. That's another way of approaching the letting go, because in the end, that's all we're trying to do is, you know, let go of what's not serving us. Okay, let's say hello to John. Hi, John.
Hi, Jono. Hi, Iona.
Hi there. I think it's nearly about 5 to 2, and I've just got to go.
You've still got 12 minutes according to my clock. So
good. Okay, good.
So we could do a quick meditation if you want, or we can go into the lesson, do a bit of discussion on the lesson. You'll catch the first couple of them.
Yes, I'd rather that, thank you.
Go into a bit of a discussion.
Yep.
Okay, we'll do a meditation tonight. So let's have a look-see at where we are. Okay, cursor's at the top there. Is it? I've got to get a black cursor. I don't have a touch screen. Sorry. It's just I have to do this.
Do you have any snow today, Iona?
There it is.
Yeah, actually, it's cleared away now, but my son, who is 40 minutes south of me at the moment, he's been out sledging this morning.
Oh, right. We've had snow, but nothing like enough to go sledging.
Not sledgeable. Aha.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Okay. So can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. I don't know why I've got apps coming up here. So yeah, just consider the quote quickly.
Some comparisons to what unites us. I was quoting that yesterday to my son. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Same quote, even though I hadn't sent it out yet.
Yeah, I was.
Oh wow! From Edward Kennedy.
Well, my words were, "There's more that unites us than divides us."
Yeah, interesting. And then it pops into your inbox the next day.
Pops into the inbox the next day.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even though Ted Kennedy was kind of a politician, like truth is universal. Like he's stating a universal truth there. That this principle of unity based on oneness is far more powerful than the idea of division based on separation. If you think about the human condition, I mean, we've all got the same stuff going on. It doesn't matter what your race is, your nationality. You know, the human condition is shared. So there's far more that unites us.
Sorry, I thought I completely misheard you. I thought you said that the human condition is shit.
Well, I guess if you want to interpret it that way.
But you said shared, and I agree, it's shared, whatever the creed or the color. Yeah.
No. So he was saying, I think Elaine was saying, you know, in Palestine, the Israeli mothers and the Palestinian mothers get together, and they say, well, let's talk about it and let's find peace, because actually we share so much, you know, and we don't want our sons and daughters to go to war and to die.
No.
So you know, we've all got these fundamental things. Family is universal. Relationships, family, you know, dreams, aspirations, disappointments. All of this actually unites us. You know, this is the human condition, and beyond that, the search for meaning. Like, what is it all about? So if we can see that, then, you know, just rise above the divisions of the ego, which focuses on what's dividing us on the level of form and beliefs and dogmas and all of that, rather than on, like, yeah, fundamentally, like, we're all pretty much the same. Doesn't matter where you're living, what you're doing, what race, color, creed, religion. Like, fundamentals of human existence are so similar. So why are we fighting? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, have a listen to that when you got a chance. An interesting podcast by David Hoffmeister.
Yeah.
Dive into the lesson, shall we? Let's go straight into first one, which is a review of lesson 16. So do you want to read it?
Sure. I have no neutral thoughts. Neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power. They will either make a false world or lead me to the real one. But thoughts cannot be without effects. As the world I see arises from my thinking errors, so will the real world rise before my eyes as I let my errors be corrected. My thoughts can be neither true nor false. They must be one or the other. What I see or perceive shows me which they are. So just on that last sentence, I guess my thoughts can either come from the true source, from the right thinking, or from my miscreation in my mind, my fears. Yeah. And if I'm thinking from source, then the world appears, oh, beautiful, calm, peaceful, loving. And then on the other end of the scale is the opposite. Confusion and chaos and negativity and all the rest of that. So I see why I have no neutral thoughts.
So it's either coming from your true awareness, pure formless awareness. Thought can arise from that. The Holy Spirit is really the awareness of that allows you to then interpret the seemingly external world from that state of mind.
Yeah.
So the Holy Spirit, you know, can direct your thoughts on the level of form to be very helpful and constructive. You know, kind thoughts, loving thoughts, grateful thoughts, based on this pure formless awareness that's it's coming from.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, you've got, you know, the idea of separation, which is just an idea that now has its own thought system, and that thought system is going to interpret the world according to its dictates, based on separation. And this is what he's saying: it's one or the other. And your thoughts are either going to be true, coming from Spirit, Holy Spirit, the awareness of oneness, or from the false self and the idea of really just an idea. That's a crazy thing. It's just a tiny mad idea of separation that's become a thought system that, you know, is complete unto itself. It has its own logic, it has its own rules, it's created its own reality, it's got its own justifications, and, you know, and now you've got a choice. Well, which are you going to believe in? And there are no neutral thoughts because it's coming from one or the other.
Yeah. Can it?
People might say, like, well, you know, if I'm just thinking like I'm going to go have lunch or I'm going to have a cup of coffee, isn't that a neutral thought? And you might not feel any intense emotion around it. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to go do that. But, you know, underlying it, so if you really, and this is where you check your feelings. Okay, so how am I really feeling about it? Am I doing it in quite a easy flowing state? It's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go. Like, I had to go to the dentist this morning. It's like, okay, am I just going to flow with it, get up, have a shower, go to the dentist, have your teeth clean. It's like, and I just observed. I was like, okay, I'm just in a state of awareness, and I'm observing. There's no resistance. It's all quite pleasant and flowing. So I'm doing the dentist, which you could say is egoic because it's like looking after your teeth, but it's how you do it. And so those thoughts, are not neutral. It's like it's either coming from the spirit, which is that awareness that I was consciously going, okay, just stay aware, observe the sensations in your mouth, just breathe, observe breath. And I went into a bit of spiritual practice while I'm in the dentist chair. So none of those thoughts were actually neutral.
Yeah.
They were coming from spirit, just consciously chosen. Whereas, you could take an experience like that and you could go, oh, dentist, oh, is she going to find something wrong? Oh, is she going to hurt my teeth when she cleans them? Oh, I did notice, like when I'm there, and it's like there's a part of your mind that's like, oh, I'm expecting pain here. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, just witness that.
Mm.
So you find even in the equanimity, the interesting thing, and even in that place of awareness, of equanimous awareness, people could say, well, that's neutral. It's not really neutral.
No.
It's actually spirit. It's the right mind. It's now operating. It just feels like, okay, there's not a lot of judgment going on. So you can say,
I'm going to go to that gallery now with that equanimous feeling. Thank you for that. That was very good analogy. So, well, it wasn't an analogy, but it was a good example.
Yeah. Well, good luck, and we look forward to hearing the miracle story tonight.
See you tonight. Thank you.
Right.
Bye, John.
See
you.
All right, John, you want to read happy with number one?
Yep. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's an interesting idea. Actually, I never really thought of I have no neutral thoughts.
Yeah.
Done the lesson before, but it's kind of just sinking to a
even a kind of seemingly neutral thought, like, yeah, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee, or I'm gonna read a book, or whatever. We have these thoughts during the day. But people say, well, that's pretty neutral. I don't really feel strongly one way or another. If you're in that kind of equanimous awareness and it just feels quite peaceful and calm, then you're in your right mind. It's not really neutral. It's actually coming from the spirit, which is the right part of your mind. And then as soon as any disturbance comes in, and you're feeling a little bit, what that feeling is. I'm just not quite comfortable. It's not sitting right. It's a little bit of grit in the Vaseline, so to speak. It's like, then you're in your wrong mind. Then it's not a neutral thought. It's a thought that's coming from the ego, which is the idea of separation.
Yeah.
So he's asking us to be very aware and say, look, there are no neutral thoughts, and every thought has power. Every thought contributes to the world I see, the reality I see. Either it makes a false world or it leads me to the real one. So therefore I need to choose. Because thoughts cannot be without effects. They all have an effect. So the world I see or perceive rises from my thinking errors. So will the real world rise before my eyes. So I let my errors be corrected. So as I change my thinking, I change my perceptions, I change my beliefs, then this real world, which is the world perceived with the Holy Spirit, the world perceived from the place of oneness, with oneness as the reference point. That's really what the real world is.
Yeah. Good. Okay, number 2. I perceive no neutral things, which I guess is an extension of number 1. What I see, I perceive witnesses to what I think. If I did not think, I would not exist, because life is thought. Let me look on the world I see as a representation of my own state of mind. Know that my state of mind can change. And so I also know the world I see, I perceive, can change as well.
Okay. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I think I'm quite interested by this. If I did not think, I would not exist. Because life is thought.
Yeah, that's an interesting. Let's discuss that. Sort of reminiscent of Descartes, René Descartes. I think, therefore I am.
Yes.
Which, spiritual teachers like Eckhart Tolle criticize and say, well, no, there's something deeper. There's a deeper presence. Your thinking doesn't define you. There's something else. So then he says, if I did not think, I would not exist, because life is thought. Almost seems to side with Descartes. However, I think you interpret thought in a bigger picture. There's a bigger perspective on thought. Life is thought. He's not talking about thoughts that the ego sponsors. He's not talking about subject-object thought, dualistic thought.
Ah, right.
I think it's pointing, you could even put a capital there. Life is thought. Might actually make more sense there. Capital T. So we are the thought of God. He says, you are thought with the mind of God. So this mind of God, love, pure formless awareness, is thought. And so when we have any kind of awareness, then that is thought.
Yeah, that puts a different aspect on it.
We need to broaden the definition of thought. So any kind of awareness, even the ego, strangely enough, he does say this at some point, even the ego still confirms, actually, that you have existence. Because you could not think wrong thoughts unless you had a mind, some kind of foundational awareness, as a foundation with which to think. Do you see that? So I think this is what he's saying. Like, beyond all your thoughts, even if they're incorrect thoughts, false thoughts, is this true awareness which allows thought to happen, allows thought to arise. So if I did not have that awareness, I would not exist. Life is this awareness that we call thought, but it's beyond just the thoughts that the ego would define as thought. What he thought, the definition, I think, is much bigger.
Yeah.
Which maybe we can put into our definition of terms, actually, if you want. Let's see, where are we? Glossary of terms, there we go. Okay, so thought. Son of God, temple. Not sure how that happened. Okay, spirit. To the awareness of God or love or pure formless awareness, uncapitalized, and to think based still based on this awareness. Even if misdirected by the ego, something like that. Happy with that?
That's good.
Maybe just let's reference. Refer to where are we? Refer to this one, which is reference, and this is lesson. Which one are we on? Second one, huh?
Yeah. The third of the revisions.
I'm in the third one. Okay.
Yeah, we're on 54.
Yeah. Just which.
Oh yeah. Okay. The second. Yeah. I see no neutral things.
Yeah, if I did not think I would not exist. Okay. So it's number 17. Paragraph 2. Okay. Okay. Guess that'll do. So let's go back to this. Like there, and okay, so does that sort of clarify number 2? I think it's a much bigger idea of thought than Nico's idea of thought. It's kind of the whole awareness. Life is thought. Life is that awareness. Life is pure formless awareness. Let me look on the world I see as a representation of my own state of mind. Know that my state of mind can change, and to also know the world I see or perceive can change as well. Okay, so my thoughts are related to my perceptions.
Yeah.
Thoughts are the underlying nature of perception.
Yeah.
So hence I see as I think. I don't think any neutral thoughts, because sight or perception is based on my thinking. Then I can see or perceive no neutral things. It follows logically from the first one. Notice he puts thought first. I have no neutral thoughts. Comes first, then seeing or perceiving. No neutral things.
Yeah.
Okay, happy with number?
Yep.
17?
I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing, perceiving. If I have no private thoughts, I cannot perceive a private world. Even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it could form the basis of the world I see. Yet that sharing was a sharing of nothing. I can also call upon my real thoughts, which share everything with everyone. As my thoughts of separation call to the separation thoughts of others, so my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them. And the world my real thoughts show me will dawn on their sight as well as mine. So what he's saying here is that we always affect others by the way we are seeing. So if we're having negative thoughts, we're going to drag them down. If we have real thoughts, we're going to lift them by talking to their own real minds, real thinking.
Oh, so the idea of one mind. The reason this is true is because there's only one mind. So even if we're not physically with someone, just by thinking in certain ways, we're influencing them. So it's happening on the, as Rupert Sheldrake talks about, the morphic field, morphic resonance. It's happening in this domain of mind.
Yeah.
And we're all connected to it, whether we acknowledge it or not. And you'll notice, if you are thinking about someone, how often does that person then suddenly come physically into your awareness? Maybe they call you. You haven't thought about someone for years, then suddenly they pop into your head, and then a few days later they call you, or you get an email or whatever. It happens quite often.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it's a sign to say, look, we're all tapped in. And I often funny because in these sessions I quite often get a thought. It's like, I wonder if Kim's going to join tonight. And then lo and behold, like literally 30 seconds later, a minute later, she's and I'm like, why did I have that thought? We're in a session, thoughts arise. It's almost like you tapping in. There's something in you that knows. So we're not alone in experiencing the effects of our thoughts, because we're not alone in experiencing the effects, and not alone in experiencing the effects of our seeing, of our perceptions, because we're all connected. So this is a principle, an idea that comes from the idea of unity, and we're all plugged into that. It was interesting. So I was doing a proposal yesterday for some oil and gas exploration, actually, which is a bit left field, not directly related to this, but these principles still come in because we're going to use a dowser. And dowsing is considered by the scientific establishment as hocus pocus. And you read, there's no scientific evidence for it. Evidence shows, they make these bold statements. Evidence shows that it's no better than a random chance. It was like, well, what evidence? they're not showing you evidence. Okay, well, where's the evidence then? Show us the evidence. Have you done studies? And they haven't. They're just saying, no evidence. It's like, well, that's not science. That's just your opinion. You stated as well, there's no scientific proof of it. But it makes sense. So in my proposal, I brought in the idea of Rupert Sheldrake and his morphic field. It makes sense if there is this morphic field. In other words, we're all connected on a mind level. That's what Rupert Sheldrake is saying in his morphic resonance. It's just a fancy term for, yes, we're all connected on a mind level, and particularly species and so on have these connections on a mind level. So they've seen that if one, it's called the 100 monkey syndrome. Like there were some monkeys on an island somewhere in the Pacific and separated by quite a long stretch of water. And so then they observed some behavior happening in one troop of monkeys on one island, and then it spreads very rapidly to the other islands. And they go, well, there's no physical way that could happen. It's like in the morphic field, that troop has learned that, and then it goes to the others via this morphic field, via this telepathic connection, which defies the scientific materialist worldview that actually there is no mind. There's only what's material, which is an insane conception, really. Well, what do you think's behind it all? What, it just the material world popped into existence from nothing? It doesn't make any sense, but that is the foundation of the ego. No, only the materialist world. The material world is real. The exterior quadrants of that integral model, only those are real, and everything else is not real, which then denies that there's any connection on a mind level. denies that you even have a mind, in truth. And Rupert Sheldrake is saying, this is not good science, because if you look at the evidence of what actually happens, you see evidence of this, this connection on a mind level everywhere. And if you're not seeing that, then you're not being honest. It's not actually good science to just deny what actually you can see, and you can observe these effects. Let me just open this. Let's go to the integral model quickly, which is so. The hardcore scientific materialism simply says that only the exterior quadrants are real. Only behavior, what you could measure, see, feel, touch, taste, and perceive, is real. And it denies that there's actually a mind behind all of that, which actually makes no sense at all. So what do you think is directing behavior then? What's behind all of these things? Behavior doesn't come out of nowhere. There's mind behind it. But they've tried to convince themselves that whatever behavior and whatever thoughts we have are simply a product of the brain. There's no mind that's independent of brain. The mind is in the brain. The mind is a product of brain. So the physical is the cause, and mind is the effect, which is a complete inversion of the truth. It's totally upside down. But that's what the ego is. It's an upside down thought system. And they call it the brain-mind problem in science. Did the brain come first, or did the mind come first?
Yeah.
From a Course in Miracles point of view, it's saying, mind is primary. Mind is what we share. Mind is source. Mind is primary, and behavior and perception comes from mind. So we share. We're not alone in the effects of our seeing, of our perceptions, because on a mind level we're not alone. There's actually only one mind. In truth, we're all connected on this, and at the highest level we're all one. There is no individual mind as such, although in this quadrant it segments it into individual and collective. There's actually really only one mind that's behind the material world. So there's actually some quite deep philosophical questions that this addresses, and science would disagree with it. They won't say, we think from our perspective, of course, students, that this is kind of a universally accepted truth, but it's not. There's many people that absolutely vehemently deny that I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts and of my perceptions. They'll say, no, of course I am. My mind is my own. My mind is my brain. Clearly, the brain's separate, the body's separate. Therefore, I'm separate, and that is actually the dominant worldview at the moment. This is considered quite left field and esoteric and dangerous. I mean, Rupert Sheldrake's been kind of demonized and attacked as some kind of pseudo-scientist, when he's actually just observed that this is true, and that this shows up everywhere, and you can actually observe the effects and test them and measure them scientifically. Okay, any thoughts on that? Happy?
No, that's good.
Next one.
I am alone in nothing. Everything I think or say or do teaches all the universe. A certain extension of God, love, pure formless awareness cannot think or speak or act in vain. He cannot be alone in anything. It is therefore in my power to change every mind along with mine. For mine is the power of God. Love, pure formless awareness. So it's saying here that well, it's kind of saying the same thing again, really, in a slightly different way, that we can change the world, the minds of others, by changing our own.
Not alone experiencing the effects of my thoughts. because it's all going into this quantum field, into the morphic field, as Rupert Sheldrake would put it. And so my thoughts have an impact on that. My thoughts are actually shared with all of humanity, hence no private thoughts. Because we cannot think or speak or act in vain. I'm not alone, very, very clear statement. You cannot be alone in anything. Even when we think we're physically alone. I mean, he says this is insanity, to think you're alone because there's no other bodies with you. It's just a crazy idea. It's part of the insanity of the ego's separation. You're never alone on a mind level. You're connected to your source, and you're connected to all of your brothers and sisters on a mind level. So it's therefore in my power to change every mind along with mine. Well, that is the logical consequence, isn't it? If we're all connected on a mind level, then if I change my mind, that can change the whole mind. It can change every mind. For mine is the power of God, or love, or pure formless awareness. So it's the underlying awareness that underlies the mind, gives the mind any kind of existence. I share that awareness, everyone shares that awareness. So if I stay in that awareness, if I cultivate, hold that awareness, that will help other people to find that awareness too. The more people that find that awareness, the more likely it is that other people will find it. So it goes into this morphic field that Rupert Sheldrake talks about. And the more that's strengthened, the more people are thinking those thoughts, the more it spreads. The more people start to think those thoughts. So this is how culture and various tendencies in society develop, because people start sharing thought, and then it becomes a pattern, and then we act on that repeatedly. Then it becomes a system. Now we have these so-called systems in the world that govern us, but all of this is a product of thought. Right? Behavior and systems are really an expression of thought, and they can be changed. People say, well, how can you change all of that? Well, they're a product of thought. So if we change our thinking, it starts with one person, but if that person shares their thoughts and gets the collective to think different thoughts, then the behavior and the systems will change. And I think we're really in a time where that's happening. I think there's going to be a lot of radical change, because the mind of the sonship is changing. We are shifting our attitudes, our beliefs, and our mindsets, and so the external world, the behavior and the systems must change as well. And so I think we're going to see a lot of that in the next 10-20 years, because of this effect, that this truth that I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts.
Yes, it's powerful.
Yeah. These simple pointers to the truth, which speaks, directly to the most advanced scientific theories, like quantum mechanics, morphic resonance. It's like, well, this is all in here. You can find confirmation in the course, in these kinds of lessons. Okay, happy with that?
Yeah. I am determined to see, perceive truly. Recognizing the shared nature of my thoughts, I am determined to see, perceive truly. I would look upon the witnesses that show me the thinking of the world has been changed. I would behold the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear, laughter to replace tears, and abundance to replace loss. I would look upon the real world and let it teach me that my will, awareness, and the will, awareness of God, love, pure formless awareness, are one.
Okay. Anything stand out for you there?
I think it's an affirmation that we are determined to see truly, as it says. and an expression of the determination to so do so.
Yeah, these are really powerful affirmations. You know, I'm determined to see. Okay, determined to see things differently. I think that's the next lesson. I'm determined to see truly. So recognizing the shared nature of my thoughts starts with thought. Okay, yeah, I'm not alone in my thoughts. No private thoughts. I'm determined to see or perceive truly, because perception comes from thought. So if I'm seeing falsely, then I must be thinking falsely. I would look upon the witnesses that show me the thinking of the world has been changed. Behold the proof. What has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear, laughter to replace tears, and abundance to replace loss. Right? So a reinterpretation of all these things that he mentions: fear, tears, sadness, loss, sickness, death, and so on. These are all things that we can change our perception of. So I would look upon the real world. Understand what he means by the real world. So we'll look at our definitions.
Well, what I understand by real world is pure formless awareness, really.
No. So the real world, if you look at, if it's based on that, but if you look at our definition there, do you want to read that?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, good. Perception of the physical world with the Holy Spirit as interpreter of all your experiences. Yeah, that's nice. A true or corrected perception of a seemingly external world.
Oh. So pure formless awareness is revelation, but the real world is your perception, your corrected perception of this world, the physical world, with the Holy Spirit, or awareness of oneness as the interpreter of all your experiences. So the real world is how you find your way back to heaven.
Yeah.
Get to heaven until you can perceive the real world here. Means that you've corrected your thinking, corrected your perception sufficiently to be ready for that final step that God takes, the final merging into pure formless awareness, the laying aside of the body. But you're not going to get to revelation without first going through the real world as a stage in correcting your perception. So the entire Course in Miracles, is designed to show you the real world, correct your perception, show you this real world, in preparation for the ultimate transcending of it, preparation for the revelation and ultimately the kingdom of heaven dawning on your mind, completely holy, and then you've let go of everything else. So corrected perception is leads you to the real world. Okay.
Which is a lovely concept.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's the only way. You're not going to get straight to heaven. So Jesus said, okay, well, this is where you are. Let's work with your perception then. You think perception is real? Think these thoughts are real? Based on a false idea? Let's start there and let's work from there. And I'll show you how to correct your perception so that more and more you reference the idea of oneness. That becomes the bedrock of all of your perceptions. And so you start to believe that more and more. And eventually that becomes your default thought system. That's what you believe. That's what you know. As you said, knowledge, perception leads to knowledge. Eventually you just start, instead of believing it, you know it. It's like, oh, I just know that that's true. And then you're ready for the final step, the merging into oneness. That is the final step that God takes in his language. Your mind needs to be ready for that. Okay, so any questions on that last one or any of these?
No, it's good actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can go straight into the text, or we can do a meditation now. Which would you prefer?
We're going to do the text tonight, aren't we?
Oh yes, sorry. Yeah, we're going to do text now. Correct. So let's do a meditation then.
Yep.
Okay, so just making yourself comfortable. Making yourself comfortable, sitting your feet shoulder width apart, back straight, cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Moving through the nose, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. And subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clenching your sphincter muscle, locking the energy in. Feel this warm wave of energy rising up your spine into your heart center. And put one hand on your heart, connecting with your heart space. Draw the energy up to the crown of your head. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Take another sip of air in. Now just look at your thoughts. Whatever thoughts are going on in your mind, remind yourself, I have no neutral thoughts. And then listen to this commentary by Jesus. Just repeat after me because it's said in the first person. So neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power. They will either make a false world or lead me to the real one. But thoughts cannot be without effects. Just breathe in again to top yourself up. Create some spacious awareness around these thoughts. This awareness frees you from identifying with these thoughts. So as the world I see arises from my thinking errors, so will the real world rise before my eyes as I let my errors be corrected. As the real world is coming from interpretation of the Holy Spirit, of the awareness of oneness. So any errors that you become aware of, scan your mind. Any thought that's not completely peaceful, loving, feels a little bit difficult, turbulating, disturbing your peace. Remind yourself that my thoughts cannot be neither true nor false. There must be one or the other. And what I see or perceive shows me which they are. So if I'm not feeling good about it, if it's feeling uncomfortable, then I know that it's a false thought. So I'm just going to exhale it all out. So exhale, just blowing it all out with the breeze of my breath. To the nothingness that it really is. The lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out and just rest here for a few moments in peace and the stillness. And are always there beyond thought. This awareness isn't actually neutral. This awareness is your right mind. Though it feels very peaceful, very calm, so people say that's neutral. It's actually what's true. It's actually wholly positive in its nature. So acknowledge that, smile, breathing in again, nice deep breath in through the nose, filling up the belly button. So you're breathing into the belly button, stomach rises, chest rises, clench the sphincter muscle, so lock the energy in. Draw the energy up the spine into your heart center. Put one hand on your heart to connect with your heart space. And then draw the energy all the way up into the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. So look within, notice anything you're seeing within. You can open your eyes briefly. You look around, say to yourself that I see or perceive no neutral things. And then say to yourself, what I see or perceive witnesses to what I think. If I did not think, I would not exist, because life is thought. Okay? So we discussed a bigger conception of thought, pure formless awareness, the underlying awareness that allows all thought to happen. That's what he's pointing to here. So let me look on the world I see as the representation of my own state of mind. Remind yourself of that as you look around with your body's eyes. Say, I know that my state of mind can change. So I also know the world I see or perceive can change as well. When I exhale, exhaling out, letting it all go to the nothingness that it really is. Pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. And I just rest here in the peace, stillness. For a few moments. Remind yourself that I see or perceive no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. So breathing in again. Nice deep breath in. Blowing the stomach up like a light-filled balloon. Imagine you breathing in light that helps you to your stomach. Clench the sphincter muscle, lock the energy in. Feel this warm wave of light energy rising up. Spine into your heart center. Put one hand in your heart. Connecting with your heart space. And then draw the energy up to the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Smile. And remind yourself that I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing or perceiving. And listen to these words. It's commentary on this. So if I have no private thoughts, I cannot see or perceive a private world. Even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it could form the basis of the world I see. Yet that sharing was a sharing of nothing. So I can also call upon my real thoughts, which share everything with everyone. So call upon them now. Just breathe them in. Imagine you breathing in the light to every pore, every cell of your body, every part of your mind is infused in this light, the light of pure formless awareness. Which you're calling upon now, calling upon your real thoughts, which are rooted in that awareness, which share everything with everyone. So your real thoughts share what is true, what is real, this pure formless awareness with everything and everyone. Feel the connection of that, feel the power of that. Breathe it in. So say to yourself, as my thoughts of separation call to the separation thoughts of others, so my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them. The world my real thoughts show me dawn on their sight as well as on mine. And so as you exhale, have a sense of just extending your real thoughts into your perception, into the world. So you see everything that's holy. It's this underlying awareness. Your awareness, it's aware of that awareness. That's the very essence of life that underlies all things. So this is what you start to see, perceive. And this leads to happy feelings, inspired feelings, connected feelings. You can then share with others. So if you briefly close your eyes, imagine you just sharing this feeling, this inner feeling of love, you can call it your own pure formless awareness. Feel it extending out through you to all the sonship, blessing them, healing them. Extend it out to friends, your family, social network, people, everyone you know. Then extend it to everyone you don't know. Feel that extension happening now. And now breathing in again. So take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing into the lower stomach, clenching the sphincter muscle, locking the energy in. Again, you can imagine beautiful golden or white light drawing up the spine to your heart center. Put one hand on your heart, connecting with your heart space. And draw this column of golden or white light all the way up into the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Maximal inhale breath. Top of the inhale. Again, scan your mind, noticing any thoughts going on there. Remind yourself, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. And repeat after me in your mind, I'm alone in nothing. Everything I think or say or do teaches all the universe. A son or extension of God or love or pure formless awareness cannot think or speak or act in vain. So say this to yourself, I cannot speak or act in vain. Breathe in on the truth of that. Breathe in this light essence, pure formless awareness that underlies everything, that teaches all the universe what you are when you identify with it. Say, I cannot be alone in anything. Feel the power and the truth of that. So it is therefore in my power to change every mind along with mine. For mine is the power of God, or love, or pure formless awareness. So you have all power in your mind. Feel that power, connect with it, breathe it in. If it helps you, can imagine light flowing into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is infused in the light. It's the light that underlies your mind, foundation of your mind, your pure formless awareness. Because you share this awareness with all your brothers, you're not alone in experiencing the effects of your thoughts. So every thought has power, every thought has an effect. Therefore, we need to be conscious of them, we need to choose them. With our right mind, choose true thoughts rather than false thoughts. So exhale and just extending this light outwards. Imagine you're extending it to all your brothers and sisters, your family, your friends, acquaintances, social network, so on. To the hardy-dar that's squawking in the background, to all the animals and the plants, every living creature, every sentient being, as they're called. Remind yourself, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. My thoughts affect the whole. Every thought affects the whole. Let me be more vigilant of my thoughts, because my thoughts are either helping or harming everyone. And your prayer is to be truly helpful to all life. So, breathing in again, breathing in the light. Imagine it's infusing into every pore, every cell of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the light. And in this light, you are determined to see, perceive truly. Say, I'm determined to see. I'm determined to perceive truly. Determined to see the real world. My true awareness shows me. Recognizing the shared nature of my thoughts, I am determined to see or perceive truly. I would look upon the witnesses that show me the thinking of the world has been changed. I would behold the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear, laughter to replace tears, and abundance to replace loss. I would look upon the real world and let it teach me that my will or awareness and the will or awareness of God, love, or pure formless awareness are one. And exhale from the truth of that, and extend this knowledge, this oneness, this unity to everyone and everything that crosses your mind. So friends and family, acquaintances, business colleagues, social network, and so on and so on. You feel this extension's loving presence. This loving presence in your mind. So there's nowhere else to go, there's nothing else to do. Just experience this fully for a few minutes of deep silence. Find yourself, I'm determined to see truly. I'm not alone in anything. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my perceptions or my thoughts. I have no neutral thoughts and I see no neutral things. And therefore, I'm determined to see or perceive truly, because I know that this is my salvation. And then just rest here. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, be still, and sink into this inner state where all is one, where there's only your own awareness that you share with every living creature, every sentient being. There's one in this awareness and with this awareness. Sinking inward, just observe the breath. Notice how the breath just happens to you, through you, and for you. The breath's just breathing you. Observe the subtle sensations in your nostrils. And just let go and let God surrender into this formless awareness, the light in which you're determined to see for the next couple of minutes of deep silence. If any thoughts arise to seemingly disturb this deep peace, just observe them casually and release them. Imagine they're just like cloud patterns, blowing them away with the breeze of your breath to the nothingness they really are, letting them all go and surrendering into the stillness, into the light. For another couple of minutes of deep silence, nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about, just rest in the knowledge that you're not alone in experiencing the effects of your thoughts or your seeing. The next 2 minutes of deep silence. And so just gently coming back, this deep state of awareness, into an awareness of the body and the breath and the senses and the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Smile. Observe any thoughts, any emotions, sensations going on. Remind yourself that I have no neutral thoughts, and I see or perceive no neutral things, because I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing or perceiving. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I'm determined to see or perceive truly. And then exhale. Just letting go any thoughts. Clearing the space. Pure formless awareness. Space of no thought. You're still very much here. You still very much exist. So life is thought. Jesus means life is foundational awareness. Based on this awareness, you can think in the world. You can think with the Holy Spirit or with the ego, depending on what you choose. So choose now to think only with the Spirit, to be determined to see truly from that perspective. So say, I'm determined to see. So it is said and so it is done. So noticing the weight of your body, pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. As you breathe in again, notice a subtle smell in your nose, maybe. Taste in your mouth. And notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm and surrendered state of mind. With no judgment. Without judgment, you are in your right mind. You may think that's a neutral state, but it's actually a true state of mind. Pure awareness is your true state. There is no such thing as a neutral thought or a neutral perception. It's coming from either spirit, the idea of oneness, and its awareness, or the ego, the idea of separation, and its thought system. So once again, resolve to stay in the spirit, determined to see, determined to perceive truly, based on oneness, which is the Holy Spirit. So it is said, so it is done. And on the count of 3, open your eyes. Let's look around for a minute, noticing the various objects in the room around you. It's a very calm, casual, detached way. Remind yourself as you look around that I have no neutral thoughts, therefore I see no neutral things. And I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing and my perceptions, because I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. And I am determined to see or perceive truly. So with that determination, carry on with your day in this hopefully much clearer, calmer, more connected state. Practice today's lesson frequently. Jesus recommends frequent application, so try for every hour. And I've sent you 5 shorter breath break recordings, which you can listen to. They're about 3 minutes and a bit. each to help you to practice any one of these ideas. So use those as you choose. Try and listen to all of them today, and we'll do another meditation on this lesson tonight as part of the evening session, which will start at 7:30 UK time. So I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for joining the afternoon session, and namaste.
Thank you, Jono.
Thanks, Jono.
Only a pleasure. Hi, Lucy. You caught the tail end of the meditation there. So
I had a meeting, unfortunately, so I just wanted to I thought I would catch the meditation.
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay. You're gonna join tonight?
That's my intention, is to join tonight.
Wonderful. So see you both then.
See you later.
See you then. Cheers.
Bye.
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 Bye.